What? Did something big happen this week? What happened? And welcome everybody to the Friday forecast on Stay Tuned Sports. It's your boy King hanging out with you here on this Friday before Divisional Playoff Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us over here on Stay Tuned Sports. If you like anything about this channel, anything at all, and I again don't know why you would, but if you do, please hit that like button, hit that share button, let the world know this channel exists, and of course, as always, if you have not done so yet, or this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers and hopefully being monetized here on this great and glorious platform known as YouTube. We got Lloyd in the chat with us. Great having you here, Lloyd. He says, to be realistic, I think the Texans have a great shot to beat the Patriots. ELS in the chat as well says, yo, what's up? How are we doing in there? And again, we've got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about here. Plus, we've got the games as well. There's a lot going on. I don't know if anybody heard. I don't know if anybody might have heard. Maybe something happened. The New York Football Giants. That's actually positive. That doesn't happen. That's not a thing that usually goes on. Something to be positive about when it comes to the New York Football Giants. But sure enough, the Giants have landed their guy. I know they're still hammering out the legal language of the contract. From what I understand, they said there's no hiccups, there's no trip up. It's just lawyers doing lawyer stuff and actually having to put, all the clauses and ipso factos and vis-a-vis or whatever the hell it is that lawyers do to earn their, $17,000 an hour rates, and God bless them for doing it. You know what I mean? Good for them. That's great because I'm not reading through that shit. But that seems to be the only thing right now. They are going to go ahead and give him a sign up there. So the Giants have Harbaugh. It seems like most likely Monken's going to come along with them. Weaver is being talked about as possibly moving up here to be the Giants' defensive coordinator on this new staff, which would be very interesting to do. But just as somebody brought up too, there was an 8-day period in which we had John Harbaugh was fired, Mike Tomlin stepped down, and then John Harbaugh was hired by the New York Giants. That all happened in an 8-day period. No other coaches have been signed as of yet. There's been a lot of interviews, a lot of people talking with others and seeing what's going on there, but nothing as of yet. I think the last one I saw was Robert Saleh. He was getting interviewed by the Arizona Cardinals to be their new head coach. Perhaps, maybe, if the Niners, lose this weekend, or if they continue to win, might be one of those things where it's, hey, you win a Super Bowl and then you go ahead and be a head coach. It's happened before. Kellen Moore did it with the Eagles last year. Went and became the head coach of the New Orleans Saints, who had, I think we could all be honest, a very good second half of the year for a team we all thought. I had them winning 0 games in the preseason. I said, no, I don't see how the Saints are going to win a game. They did a hell of a lot better than my New York Giants did. That is for sure. Plus, obviously, we had earlier in the week, as I mentioned before, Mike Tomlin stepped down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We had a little breaking news segment on here. Again, it was kind of middle of the day, so not a lot of people showed up. Lloyd was in here, though. Lloyd joined me for that one. But, yeah, there was, again, I think it's something that we all knew was coming or would have to happen that way. As we've had plenty of Steeler fans tell me, tell ELS in the chat that they felt the only way that Mike Tomlin would ever leave is that he wouldn't get fired. He would have to step down of his own accord. And that's exactly what happened. He stepped down. The Steelers, for the first time in 19 seasons, will have a new head coach on the sideline. It's going to be only their 4th head coach in 57 years? Since 1969, when they got Chuck Noll, which is, again, that's the same year my brother was born, and he's 50. Yeah, he's about to become 57, I think. Yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot. I mean, it's crazy when you stop and think about the timelines of that. Like, that shit is nuts. That shit is crazy. And so we've had all that happening. Plus, this is all happening in the middle of playoffs. This is all happening in the playoffs. And I do agree, ELS, I was going to bring that up as well. I did see some of the extra headlines here. Of course, we got the Eagles talking about A.J. Brown. A lot of people thinking about he's going to be sent out, sent away, traded perhaps. And Eagles GM Howie Roseman said, hey, listen, he's a great player. It's hard to find great players, so you try to find a way to work around it. Now, as I said before, I've said this many times, and I will say this forever. When it comes to players, there is a talent to bullshit ratio, which there's a calculation to it. I don't know the exact calculation. I don't have my slide ruler on me. But there is a level of talent and production that you can have, and a team will deal with a lot of your bullshit. We've seen it with A.J. Brown. We've seen it in the past with many other players, mostly wide receivers, sometimes a running back, sometimes a quarterback. But, you can kind of be a bit of a distraction. You can kind of be a bit of an asshole. You can kind of be one of those kind of people. And people will look the other way because, well, Tyreek Hill is one of them. You'll look at these type of individuals who maybe have some legal issues off the field, cause problems in the locker room or off the field, or things like that, and you're willing to deal with it. Because, boy, they put up some numbers. They do real, they make incredible catches. They're incredibly athletically talented. They're all of that. So when you look at from those perspectives, so when Howie says that, I don't disagree with him, and I don't think he's lying about that either. I think the Eagles and Howie Roseman are definitely looking to keep A.J. Brown. They don't want to trade him away. I think the only way they trade him away is if they feel like not only do they get equal value, they want to get something else. It's Howie Roseman. He's going to want to get the edge on any deal that he makes. So if they're able to get some good, talented pieces plus some draft capital, I feel like he might feel like he'll be on top of that. I don't know if anybody's going to do that for A.J. Brown, though. Because, if you're getting A.J. Brown, yeah, he's productive still, kind of, but it is a bit of a headache, and you have to make sure that you baby him and make sure that he's okay to avoid anything else. And if you have a team that is maybe a little shaky in the locker room, as it were, you don't want to bring that in. You don't want to bring in that element. So I honestly do think A.J. Brown stays with the Eagles. As much as Eagles fans might be done with them, some might say they are done with them, some might say not. Some might be done with Sirianni. I don't know. It varies when you ask each of these Eagles fans. But I don't know. Lloyd in the chat says, oh, what are you talking about? Oh, stop talking. The Harbaugh deal's done. Stop. Lloyd says, well, I already did the intro. Stop it. And Crafty in the chat says, an asshole on the Eagles? No way. That's ELS in the chat says, meanwhile, I lost a good friend of mine dealing with that. Oh, man. ELS, very sorry to hear that. And, again, thoughts to you. Don't bring the chat down. I understand. It is very bad, though. And, we've seen people dealing with a lot of stuff, unfortunately, lately. I've seen some people in some of the Discords dealing with stuff and dealing with all of that. So, again, thoughts to you, thoughts to your friend, thoughts to your friend's family, thoughts to everybody involved and affected by it. And I certainly hope that listening to my fat, dumb, insensitive ass somehow makes things better. I don't know if it does. I doubt it, but I'm pretty bad. Crafty in the chat says Eagles fans are quote-unquote done with Sirianni every other Monday. That's true. How many times, when Jimbo was still a part of this show, like every other week he was talking about firing Sirianni. Even last year, when they won a Super Bowl, he was still like, let's see. If he wins the Super Bowl, maybe we'll keep him around for another year, but we'll see. Oh, that happened after the 2017, like it was at 2018, 2019, the crowds were in Philadelphia were chanting Fire Howie. Philadelphia fans they like to say they're passionate. They're loud, and they're wrong most of the time. They're pretty dumb. Now, that's not to say Giants fans in general, in mass, in toto, are any significantly better. If you've hung around Giants fans at all, you can realize if you've listened to WFAN callers call in at all, you can understand the New York Giant fan or just the New York football fan in general, Giant, Jet, whatever. Not the smartest group of people around. Maybe not all there in the old melon, as it were. A lot of times I hear Giants fans talk, and it is kind of embarrassing as a Giants fan to hear other Giants fans talk about the Giants because they're so goddamn stupid. But, it is what it is. Now, do I still think Giants fans are better and smarter than Eagles fans? Yes. Not saying much, though. That's not saying much. I'm just saying. Kenneth said, did you think about doing the college football championship on Monday night? I have, and I'm going to tell you, it's probably, right now it's about 90-10 to yes that I'm going to do the national championship game on Monday night, Kenneth. So we'll see. We'll look forward to that. Lloyd says, insane in the men brain, as Cypress Hill once told us so wisely. Indeed, Philadelphia Eagles fans are insane in the brain. Insane, got no brain. Also, Cypress Hill, very big onto the cannabis train early on, if anybody wanted to be aware of that. I don't know if anybody knew that or not. Back in the day, they were very big into the cannabis. It was very wild times. By the way, Nico Collins, this is something else out there as well. Nico Collins will be out, suffering a concussion last week. He will not play this week against the Patriots. So maybe that's something you add into. Maybe that's something you look into when you're saying, like, ooh, who am I going to pick? Who are we doing on this divisional weekend? Who are we going to pick to do this? Yeah, ELS, I have seen some of the stuff about the stuff. Is it going to be Gary? I would figure you'd want to do maybe outside of Gary, considering how bad Gary, Indiana is right now. And that initial rendering looks like every other picture that they had, even for when they had in like Arlington Heights and in Chicago for a new Soldier Field. I don't like. We're kind of heading into a new age of the cookie cutter stadium, and I don't like it. Again, this was. Let me see if I can bring this up on the screen here. Probably not. All right, but yeah, there's. I mean, when you look at what some of these renderings are. Now, I'll tell you this. I'll give this to credit to Washington, what they're going to do on the RFK site, where it's going to be basically, it looks a lot like RFK. I like that on the outside, they're keeping the motif very much of the marbled, neo-Roman kind of classical look, but yet modern, so it kind of looks like it looks very nice. For Washington, what they want to build there by 2030, they want to open that up. Maybe they'll be the Redskins again by then. We'll see. But a beautiful stadium. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous, those renderings there. And yes, I know it has a roof on it. I'm not a big fan of roof. I'm not a big fan of domes. I'm not a big fan of any of that. But I'm very excited if they do build that. I think that's pretty nice. I think that's a nice looking stadium. The one that the Chiefs are supposedly going to build in Kansas City, Kansas, and the one that you just saw there, the Bears want to build in Gary, Indiana, home of birthplace of Michael Jackson. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know if I feel like you got to go with a little bit more personality. Like, again, because then you get into the realm of like MetLife Stadium. The giant HVAC unit has no personality, has nothing to it. It's just a giant piece of shit in the middle of the fucking Meadowlands swamp. Sorry, I'm trying to curse less, but it's like it's gross. ELS says ESPN has ranked the Saints draft class this season as the most productive in the NFL this season. I'm sure Pecan's happy about that. And I think it shows a bright future for those New Orleans Saints. I do agree. Crafty in the chat says, Darnold has an oblique injury for the Seahawks. Will we be seeing Drew Lock versus the 49ers? Now, Sam Darnold did say, come hell or high water, he's starting. He's playing in that game. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to finish the game. Will we have to see Horsecock Lock come in and get the job done for Seattle against the San Francisco 49ers? I don't know. We're going to find out, though. And we might have to do a little bit of predicting with that. And we're seeing that's why we're going to do this right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's jump on over to the board here. And by jump on over, I just mean I'm going to hit the thing and it's going to go boop like that. There we go. And we can start doing some of these divisional picks here. Again, we've only got 4 games, so it's going to be a little quick. It's going to be a little easy. Lots to talk about still. But starting off here, by the way, in the chat, Kenneth Clark, great to see you, Kenneth. He says, do we see a number 1 seed go down in the playoffs? And again, that was the poll question we have there in the chat. If you're in the chat, come in, say hi, say hello, say how you doing. Be a part of the poll right now. Of the 4 games I have as an upset, which one would you pick? And again, we have 2 number 1 seeds, so those would be the Bills over the Broncos and the 49ers over the Seahawks. The 49ers currently a 7-point underdog to the Seahawks. The Bills only a 1.5 point underdog to the Broncos. Which one of those would you think is more likely for an upset? You can make your picks down in the chat while we go ahead and take a look over here. Crafty in the chat says, you mean future Super Bowl MVP Drew Lock? Could be. Hey, listen. Who saw Nick Foles doing what he did in 2017? Coming in for what was assuredly going to be Rookie of the Year, if not NFL MVP candidate, Carson Wentzylvania, before he hurt his knee, and then Foles took him the rest of the way. You know, who saw that coming? So, could that be the same thing with Seattle? Is Drew Lock going to step in and be the savior if, God forbid, something happens to Sam Ghostbuster Darnold there? I have no idea. First game, this is going to be Saturday, tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. on your local CBS stations, the Buffalo Bills going up to Mile High and Power Field at Mile High, which they're already getting rid of. To old heads like me, it seems like they just built that fucking place. I'm trying to curse less, sorry. But it seems like they just built that place. And now they're already replacing it. It's like, boy, I feel old. Or they just don't build them like they used to. Either way, Bills going up there to Mile High Stadium to take on the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. 52% of the people are picking the Broncos. 48% are on the Bills. As I mentioned before, the Bills only a 1.5 point underdog in this game. Now, this one should not surprise anybody. I have not been on the Broncos all year. I don't like the Broncos. I don't know why. It just feels like they haven't played a 60-minute game. And they haven't. They have not played a full 60-minute game. I think is it possible to luck your way into 14 wins in an NFL season? If there's a way, I think the Broncos have done that. They are 14-3. Now they're going up against the Bills team who is injured. They have some holes, some spots to fill clearly, but they also have Josh Allen. And I'm sorry, if you're going to ask me, who am I going to pick? Am I going to pick the Bills or am I going to pick the Broncos? Now, last week I had picked the Jaguars to beat the Bills. I thought the Jaguars were on a bit of a roll. I thought they were playing a lot better. They made a couple of mistakes in that game, and that cost them. And Josh Allen played Josh Allen playoff football. If the Bills are going to play Josh Allen style playoff football, I think this game is the Bills, and I think it's not even as close as the Jaguars game was. I think the Bills win this game up in Mile High, and they're going to go to the AFC Championship game. That is what I think. What do you think? In the chat, Lloyd says he's picking the Broncos considering the altitude. He thinks that the Mile High air is going to suck the lungs out of the Broncos' mouths. It's going to be like a goddamn John Carpenter movie there, he thinks. It could be. I don't know. We'll find out here. Crafty says, compared to their... Oh, he's still talking about that game. Let me jump over here and see. ELS, he says, easy pick. He says he's got the Bills by 10. Lloyd says, ELS, you need to consider the elevation and the weather. Again, the weather, I don't think is going to bother the Bills too much. They're from freaking Buffalo. So, oh boy, it's a little frigid. They're from Buffalo. They'll be all right. The altitude, obviously, that's always going to affect everybody differently, but you're acting like they don't have oxygen tanks on the sideline, which they do. So, Again, is it a big issue? Is it an issue that I think they're going to have to try to look at doing? Absolutely. But is it going to be the deciding factor? I don't think so. Again, the Jaguars went up there not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, and beat the Broncos at home in Mile High. Teams have beaten the Broncos at Mile High. It has happened. It can happen. And in my mind, it will happen on Saturday. We're talking about, about 7:30-ish or so. This game should be over. I think what you'll be seeing is the Buffalo Bills advancing to the AFC Championship game. ELS in the chat says, I have considered the elevation and the weather, but I still don't trust the Broncos. That's kind of how I feel. I just don't trust the Broncos. I can trust the weather. I can trust the thin air at, 5,200 and whatever the hell it is feet, whatever a mile high is. I forget how many feet are in a mile. Either way, it feels like this is the Bills' game to win. I don't trust the Broncos. Now, if Bo Nix goes off and has a great game, yeah, absolutely the Broncos can win. But you have to trust in that. And I just don't trust them. So coming up next then at 8 o'clock on your local Fox station, we're going to switch on over from CBS to Fox. If you're streaming or if you're just on the regular broadcast television, just hit that little click, hit the clicker, and see what you got there for the third time this year. And for the second time in 3 weeks, the San Francisco 49ers are going to take on the Seattle Seahawks. This time, they will be facing them in Seattle. They haven't visited there since week 1 when they got the win late in the game against the Seahawks. Again, that was a very long time ago. And the Seahawks just went into Santa Clara and put a whooping on the San Francisco 49ers to get the number 1 seed. So this game would be at Lumen Field there in Seattle. You have the Niners at 12-5. The Seahawks 14-3. 81% of the people are on the Seahawks, while only 19% think that the Niners have a shot in this game. Again, they are injured, beyond injured, and we've been counting them out all year, and they keep on winning games. They keep on coming back. They went into Philadelphia last week, into the Lions' den, or Eagles' den, as it were, and they got a victory over a team that, while they have flaws, is still a very good team, and we're the defending Super Bowl champions. The Niners went in there, put their foot down, and got the win. Now, can they do that in Seattle against the team that they just faced and had massive trouble with, especially with that defense? I have been on the 49ers train all year. I have been. I even picked them to win that game at the end of the season to get the number 1 seed. Boy, that was a wrong pick. So you figure I've seen enough. There's enough evidence in front of me. I like the Seahawks. I like what Sam Darnold's doing as long as he doesn't turn the ball over. I like that defense. That defense is very good. And again, with the Niners now losing Kittle on top of all the other injuries they've had, in what possible way could they think that they're going to win this game? In what possible way can the 49ers think they're going to win this game? Lloyd, he's got capital letters. He says Seahawks. 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 He thinks the Seahawks are going to win this one rather easily. ELS in the chat says, give me the 49ers. I have a feeling Sam is due for a bad game, and this is the game we're going to be seeing here. Crafty says, well, will the 49ers be starting Juwan Jennings at quarterback? Now, here's the question. As ELS brought up, Sam Darnold, he feels he's due for a bad game. Do we get good Brock Purdy or bad Brock Purdy in this game? Because we've seen Brock have some magnificent games. But we've also seen Brock Purdy have some struggles. And again, they do have a lot of injuries on the offensive side of the ball. They also do have a lot on the defensive side of the ball. They just opened the practice window for Fred Warner. He's not going to be playing this week. Could play next week for the 49ers if they advance to the NFC Championship game. Will they, though? That's the question. That's why you're here. You want to know what my fat ass is picking. Why? I don't know, but I want to thank you so much. Hit that like button, by the way, if you're along here and watching along and want to see who my fat ass does pick. And enough of the suspense. I can't quit them. I just can't quit them. I've been riding with them all year, and especially with their injuries. Hell, I liked them in the preseason. They were one of my favorites to I think I had them as the number 1 overall seed in the NFC, which was weird that I thought they were going to be that good, even despite after all these injuries that they have had, that they still almost came through with that prediction. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Niners. I don't know why. It just feels Niners. Now, again, that's the worst thing in the world because that's going to be probably the Seahawks blow them out again, and that's going to be that. And then we can come back on here next week for the championship preview, and everybody can laugh and make fun of me. And that's okay because I would be wrong. But if I'm right, nobody will remember and nobody will care. But I do pick the 49ers. I do agree with ELS a little bit. I do think that Sam Darnold might not have a great game. Do I think if he has another 4 or 5 turnover game? I don't want to go that far. Now that Seahawks defense is great. Can the Niners get a way around that? Can they find a way to penetrate that defense and slide it right in to score? Just a couple times. You got to score a couple times at least in order to really get full satisfaction at the end. So we'll see if they're able to do that. Plus, if there's somebody that can help get a defensive scheme to stop an offense, I'm trusting Robert Saleh over a lot of other coordinators. Again, I didn't like him as a head coach, but as a coordinator, I don't think you could do any better than Robert Saleh as your defensive coordinator. For those reasons, I'm going against the grain. I'm picking an upset here. I am picking the San Francisco 49ers to knock off the number 1 seed in the NFC, the Seattle Seahawks. I know. Blasphemy. Heretical sacrilege. That's just how I feel, though. Then we move over to Sunday. Kid seats just $5. Anyway, we have the Houston Texans, as we were talking about a little bit earlier, going up against the New England Patriots at Foxborough, Massachusetts. That game is going to be on your local ABC or ESPN station, apparently. So you can watch Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman probably misspeak and say a slur or something. I don't know. Didn't he say something weird last game? I don't know. Either way. Oh, yeah, something about cock management when he's supposed to say clock management. That's my joke. Stop stealing my cock jokes, Troy Aikman. Those are my jokes. I do the clock sucker jokes. You stop that, sir. You stop that. Anyway, Texans, Patriots, that Texans defense, man. That Texans defense is something special, something good. They look as good as ever. Now, again, here's the question. Are the Texans defense still that good? Are they really, really that good? Or is the Steelers offense just that bad? It was a little column A, a little column B. And now that they got to go up against an MVP candidate in the Patriots there. I don't know why. For some reason, I have Drew Lock on the brain, and I don't know why. It's really bad. May is. I don't know why it was Drew Lock and Drake May were melding themselves in my brain. Don't get old, ladies and gentlemen. It's terrible. Early onset Alzheimer's is not fun. Anyway, they got to go up against Drake May. They got to go up against the Patriots. Basically, this is what it's going to be. I think the Patriots can score enough points against the Texans defense to make this a game. The question is, can C.J. Stroud and these Texans, without Nico Collins, get the points that they need to keep the game close and stay with the Patriots? Again, I feel like the Patriots' offense is just a little bit better. I feel their offensive line is a lot better than the Steelers' offensive line. And Drake May knows how to put the ball where it needs to go. I think they're called better offensive game plan than Arthur Smith did with the Steelers. I'll say this. I love the Texans' defense, and I think defense does win championships. But when I feel like the loss of Nico Collins is going to be really a big part of this. And so I am going to go with the home team. And it seems like just when you thought you got rid of them, the New England Patriots. Oh, you lost the Chiefs. The Chiefs are gone. Hey, everybody, it's great. The Chiefs dynasty is done. Well, shit. Look who's back. Daddy's home, baby. Daddy's home, and the New England Patriots are going to be back in the AFC Championship game to take on their division rival, the Buffalo Bills, the rubber match. That's what I have as your AFC Championship game. The Buffalo Bills traveling to Foxborough Stadium, though it's Gillette Stadium, but I'm old. I still remember it as Foxborough. They're traveling to Foxborough, to Gillette Stadium, to take on the New England Patriots. That's what I have for the AFC. What about the NFC? What do I have for the NFC? The Los Angeles Rams traveling out to the Chicago Bears. Here's the thing. Here's the final thing. Oh, by the way, just looking here in the chat here, Crafty says, ironic given that Aikman has often been rumored to be a cock manager himself. Crafty says that Texans defense is scary. If the Texans can keep the run game going that they showed in Pittsburgh, they're going to be tough for any AFC team to beat, in my opinion. I don't disagree with that necessarily. Not at all. And again, I like the Texans, especially because of that defense. It just feels like New England's a better all-around team than the Texans are right now. Lloyd, he picks the Texans. I know Irish is going to be very upset with me that I picked against his Texans. Or maybe he'll be happy. He'll be like, yeah, King picked against us. That's almost a certainty of winning. Crafty says, I think Saleh can get another job at a head coach position. The Jets screwed him by forcing him to accept that. No, he just was very bad. If you read any of the articles from Diana Rossini in his time here in the New York area with the Jets, he never had control of that locker room. He was very bad at being a head coach and kind of trying to have, like, he was just very bad. He was just a very bad manager. He was very bad at trying to manage situations and the locker room and all of those things. He was a very bad head coach. Coordinator, great. Head coach, bad. Did he learn anything from his experience in New York? Will he get better than that? Will he change some of those things and become a little bit better? If he gets another head coaching job opportunity, maybe. We'll see. But again, Saleh seems like he might be one of those guys that is just better as a coordinator than he is actually as a head coach. Again, I'm back to the NFC game here, the last game of divisional weekend here, the Rams and the Bears. And I said it a lot last week. Well, I've said it a lot all year, and I said it during the game this week against the Packers. I was like, man, you can't go down early, constantly, all the time, like they've been doing, and expect that you're going to come back. Like, and they've done it a lot all year. They've done it, I think they said, 5 or 6 times, probably even more than that, where they've gone down early, had double-digit deficits at some point in the game, and found a way to come back, and they win. Whether it's a last-second comeback or if they, by the fourth quarter they've gotten all the way back into the game, and now it's a back-and-forth situation. And I said during that game against the Packers, I was like, you can't keep doing that, especially in the playoffs. If you go down that early, go down that big that early, the Packers will find a way to just coast. They'll keep on, and you tried it one too many times, it's not going to work. And then the Bears proceeded to go ahead and do exactly what I said they probably couldn't do, not in the playoffs at least anyway. And they did the same thing they've been doing all year, which is go down big, go down early, come all the way back, and then get a late score to take the lead and win the game in the end. Now you got to go up against the Rams. Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and what's going to be. Here's the thing we got to remember. And this is why you should stop building fucking domes if you're in the north. Sorry, trying to curse less. Why you should stop building domes. Because it's apparently going to be, maybe, perhaps, the coldest game on record. Whether it's from actual temperature, whether it's going to be from the wind whipping off of Lake Michigan, that's going to make it bad. I think the actual temperature that they're forecasting right now at kickoff is -1. I think that's the actual air temperature. I don't know what the wind chill would be, but I think that's what we're looking at right now. So it is going to be cold. It is going to be windy. That's going to affect everybody. Let's not sit there and try to say, well, that's going to affect the Rams really bad. They're from LA. It's going to be like, you think any of these Bears players want to be out there in 1-degree weather with 30-mile-an-hour winds coming off the lake? I don't know if they want to be there either. But that's going to be the question. Who's it going to affect more? Now, when you look at it, I think both of these teams have a very good running game. The Bears with Swift and Monangai. And, of course, the Rams with Williams and Corum. I like both teams' running game setup. And we might see a lot of running in this game considering the weather as it's going to be. So the question becomes, who would you give the edge to when it comes to either the running game or if you have to make those passes? You have to make those critical passes in a critical time, in bad weather, in windy weather, and just, it's everything's bad. Your face is hurting. The shell on your helmet's going to crack like it was Brandon Jacobs or Patrick Mahomes a couple years ago against the Dolphins. It's going to be that cold. And you need that one throw, and it's going to hurt your hand because it's going to hit somebody's helmet or shoulder, but you got to go ahead and suffer. Who would you rather have throwing that pass? Caleb Williams, who we saw last week, boy, he can get it done. He can throw those kind of miracle passes on fourth down that you need, and he and Odunze, boop, they can do it. Or do you pick Matthew Stafford, MVP candidate? He's been doing it for so long. For some reason, my sister-in-law hates him. I don't know why. I don't know if she met him somewhere. I have no idea, but she just cannot stand him. I don't know why. I like Matthew Stafford. I think he's fine. And I think he's a hell of a quarterback. Whose hands do I want the ball in? In that case, I am going to pick Stafford. And if that's going to be, to me, the difference maker, then I'm going to go ahead and pick the Rams because I think it's going to be a heavy running game. I think it's going to be mostly runs. I think you're going to try to keep the ball out of the air as much as possible with the weather, with the wind, with the cold. Only bad things are going to happen with that. Keep it on the ground. Keep it with your boys. But in those critical moments, if you have to make a critical 3rd and 6 pass over the middle, who am I picking to make that throw? I'm going to pick Matthew Stafford. And so for that, I'm picking the Rams, and I think the Rams will advance to the NFC Championship game, and they will host the San Francisco 49ers. So we will have an all-divisional conference championship weekend, the AFC East, where you'll have the Buffalo Bills taking on the New England Patriots, and the NFC West, where you'll have the San Francisco 49ers of Santa Clara traveling down to Inglewood, California, to take on the Los Angeles Rams at SoFi Stadium. That is how I have the divisional playoffs breaking down, ladies and gentlemen. Quickly, once again, I have Buffalo going to Denver and winning at Mile High Stadium, and I've got the 49ers pulling out a miracle upset over the Seattle Seahawks at Lumen Field, and I have the Niners advancing to the NFC Championship game. I have the Patriots beating the Texans at Gillette Stadium on Sunday, 3 p.m. on your local ABC stations. And then in the last game of the weekend, I've got the Rams going into Chicago and ending the Bears' miracle run of a season. Hell of a season. First season there for Ben Johnson and the Bears. I have the Rams going in there and ending it all for the Bears and winning that game, of course, 6:30 on your local NBC stations. So let's see here. Crafty in the chat said Stafford and Puka struggled in last year's weather game versus the Eagles. Matthew Stafford, you mean injured and always delirious. Crafty also says we'll be getting at least one NFC West team in the NFC Championship game no matter what. I agree, and I think we're going to get two. If we're going to be honest with you, I think the Bears fall. I do. So whether it's going to be Rams, Seahawks, or Rams, Niners, I think it's going to be an all NFC West championship game. I like the Bears. I think it's a great story. I love the fact that they keep on winning those games the way they're winning them. But that's got to stop at some point. Like, you just can't keep doing it. And again, I think the great equalizer for them, though, is the weather. I think if the Bears win this game, and they very well could, and I think one of the big reasons that'll help them win this game is going to be that home field advantage because of the weather, which is why you should stop building goddamn domes. Buffalo knows that. They're building a $2 billion stadium. Where's the roof on it? They don't have one. Why? Because they're smart. They know. They know they need that advantage. Just saying. I'm just saying. Lloyd says Bears win. So he's got the Bears. So Lloyd, I think, is picked opposite of everything I have in this one, and that's fine. And that's interesting. We're going to find out who. And listen, to be fair, probably going up against me is the best way to get winners because I just, for some reason, I can't buy a win lately. Although I didn't do bad last week. I think I only missed the Jaguars. And who else did I miss last week? Did I miss anybody last week? I think I only missed the Jaguars. I think I only lost one game last week. If we're being honest. Let me see. Hold on. Let me pull this down for a second. Let me see. How did I do last week? And who did I pick? I won the Rams, won the Bears, lost Jacksonville. Yeah, I only lost the Jacksonville game. All right. So that's not bad. That's not bad then. That's not bad. Lloyd says, wicked smart, especially if you pick the Patriots. You'd be wicked smart. Yolis in the chat says, for some reason, and this is not me just being biased, I think the Rams will win easily. Whoa. I don't trust the Bears in all four quarters. They are an excellent fourth quarter team. They are. That's why I think it'll be close, and I think the weather will keep it close. I am not going as far as to say the Rams are going to blow them out. Maybe if it was perfect weather, if it was like 50 degrees, even like 48, 47, a slight breeze, I would say I would maybe go with the Rams and a little bit more point total. But with it being as cold as it is, with I think there's a possibility of snow or weather, and especially with the wind, I think that's a great equalizer there for the Bears. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Crafty says King is like that degenerate gambler in a Bronx Tale who oh, I'm not you mush. You mushed me. Oh, mush. God, I love Bronx Tale. That's a great Bronx Tale's great. Obviously, Goodfellas is great. Any of those mob movies, anything that was really like Scorsese or that had De Niro in it before De Niro lost his fucking mind, trying to curse less. Any of those movies from back in the day, just great. Give me a Casino, clearly. God, Casino. Like, anything Scorsese, anything Godfather, obviously, anything Bronx Tale, again, great movie. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Crafty in the chat says, Bears have a bad habit. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. Bears have a bad habit of starting slow, but the Rams have a habit of letting teams back into games. Oh boy, there's a little bit of synergy there. If the Bears do what the Bears always do again, at that point I'm just going to ride the Bears train all the way to the Super Bowl. Like at that point I'm just picking them to win the Super Bowl. Because at that point, what's going to stop them? If they just keep on doing that shit, that's just all right. Because my whole point was, all right, you got away with it in the regular season. You can't get away with it in the playoffs. If they do it twice in the playoffs, who am I? Who am I to start arguing with it? Who am I to start arguing with it? So, I like the redone one. It's still not great, Lloyd, but the Godfather Part 3 coda that like Francis Ford Coppola redid, like he kind of cut it the way he wanted it to be, is actually not as terrible. It's still not great, and I still don't consider it to be part of the Godfather. To me, Godfather is Godfather 1 and Godfather 2. And by the way, what's the one? I think it might be on HBO. You'll find it. They did an edit where they edited Godfather 1 and 2 in the order that it is in the book, so you can watch it all the way through, and it's like watching the book. And I think that it's like a 6-hour goddamn movie at that point, but it's great. If you ever got the chance, check that out. I forget what it's called. It's like the Godfather Ultima or some shit like that. I don't know. I forget, but still. Watch it if you can. By the way, latest rumors, the next Godzilla movie, Godzilla X Kong Supernova, going to have Space Godzilla in it. Let's go! Sorry, I'm a Godzilla freak, if anybody doesn't know that. Huge Godzilla fan. Plus Godzilla -0 coming out later on this year. That's going to be... There's never been a better time to be an absolute Godzilla fan, Toho fan, Kaiju fan, whatever. Never a better time. Love it. just let your nerd juices fly. I love it. Let's go Godzilla. Go Godzilla. Ooh. But yeah, there we go. I've got the just quickly again: Buffalo over Denver, Niners over Seahawks, Patriots over Texans, and the Rams. I have beating the Bears. Yeah, Crafty, I love that. It's such a great. If you ever have the chance, if anybody ever has the chance, and you haven't seen The Godfather, it's I guess Crafty says they call it just The Godfather Saga, where it's re-edited. I think it's on HBO, so you should be able to check it out on either HBO Max or check your local streaming service. Check that out because it's a whole day watch. So maybe have a couple drinks, get an edible or two, get some chicken parm. You know, you got to get that real, gabagool flavor. You know what I mean? Just sit, relax, and watch that because that stuff is absolutely excellent. It's fantastic. So yeah, that'll do it for this particular episode of Friday Forecast. We're running out of these. We're running out. We only got two more. We've got the next one for championship weekend, and we got one for the Super Bowl. That's it, and then we're done with Friday Forecast for the 2025 season until we start up counting down towards the 2026 season in the middle of summer when it's all hot and gross and the only thing on is frickin' baseball. God. Oh, the misery. I'm already getting depressed thinking about it. But thank you so much for watching along with us here, with us. Me and my split personalities here. Thank you for watching along on this channel with Stay Tuned Sports with me, your boy King. If you like anything that you saw on this channel, and I don't know why you would, please hit that like button. Hit that share button. Let the world know that we exist. And, of course, as always, if you haven't done so yet, or you're just new here, it's your first time here, please hit that subscribe button as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. If you want to help us out even more, link for our donation station and our merch store down in the description below. I will see the rest of you tomorrow right here at 4:30 p.m. for the Buffalo Bills taking on the Denver Broncos in the AFC divisional matchup there. And then we'll close out Saturday with the Niners and Seahawks yet again. Just 2 weeks later. We had one Saturday end with Niners Seahawks, and now we're going to have another weekend end, or another Saturday anyway, end with Niners Seahawks. So that will be absolute fun. And I'm excited for it. And this is the best time, baby. This is the best time. And then perhaps, as we talked about a little bit earlier, obviously we know Sunday is going to be Texans and Patriots, Rams, Bears, and then Monday, and it's looking more and more likely, Monday, we will be having the College Football National Championship, where we'll have a watch-along here for you as well. So, until tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, whatever it is local. I know a lot of you Central Time Zone folks, that'll be, 3:30? If you're out on the West Coast, it's, 1? Yeah, it'd be 1:30. Damn. That's pretty good. 1:30 playoff football? That's pretty good. Sometimes I think the West Coast is really good. And then I remember it's California, Oregon, and Washington, and I just don't want to deal with that shit. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us here. I'll see you tomorrow for playoff football. Until then, this has been a Friday Forecast on Stay Tuned Sports. Have a great rest of your Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, next drink's on me, I promise.